Shri Gurucharitra, Chapter 33. Shri Gurudeva Datta Parabrahmane Namaha. Glory of Sacred Rudraksha Beads. Siddha Yogi continued the narration of Shri Gurucharitra to the devoted disciple Namadharaka. The next day morning, that virtuous woman, accompanied by her husband, arrived at Shri Guruji's place and devotedly saluted him. She informed Shri Guruji that when she was grieving from the pangs of separation of her husband the previous day, an ascetic had come and preached her the life's philosophy, and that he granted 4 Rudraksha beads to her. He also advised her that before lighting fire to the dead body of her deceased husband, she should visit Sangam and have the vision of Shri Guruji. Besides, he instructed her to collect the sacred water of ablution seva offered through recitation of Rudra verses to the lotus feet of Sri Guruji and sprinkle the same on the dead body before cremation. So saying, he disappeared. Hey, the revered one, who might be that ascetic who had advised me? Kindly let me know about him. Shri Guruji just smiled after listening to her talk. Then he said, Hey young women, the ascetic who had met you yesterday was none other than myself in disguise. Impressed by your devotion, it is I who have conferred you those Rudraksha beads. The glory of Rudraksha is incomparable. The bearer of Rudraksha beads, let him be anyone, whether a devotee or non devotee, just by wearing gets liberated from all his sins and becomes a purified soul. Just by wearing Rudraksha beads, one earns a lot of religious merit. Rudraksha is an effective means to attain well being in this and the other worlds. It has also in it the power to liberate. There is no greater precious wealth than Rudraksha. The merit which one earns by wearing Rudraksha is countless. If one repeats a verse with the help of the rosary of Rudraksha beads in his hands, he derives infinite religious merit. By wearing Rudraksha on body, one can easily acquire 4 supreme values of life, namely Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. To substantiate what I have told you, I am going to narrate a past incident to you. By listening to that, all sins and misfortunes would disappear at once. In the past, there was a king by name Bhadrasena who ruled the state of Kashmir. He had a son named Sudharma. So also his minister had a son by name Tarak. Both were looking handsome and were blessed with rich knowledge. As the boys were brought up together, they were very close and intimate friends. They never used to part with each other. Both were taking part in all day to day activities together. Their only ornaments were Tripundra Dharan, a mark on the forehead, and the rosary of Rudraksha beads. They did not seek nor were bothered about jewelry and other ornaments. If someone happened to offer them any valuables by way of gift, they used to treat them even inferior to and throw them away. Once the Trikaladhyani sage Parashar happened to visit the king's palace. The king received him respectfully and made him to be seated on a throne comfortably and worshipped him as per the scriptures devotedly. Then the king, praying to the sage with folded hands, said, O the great sage, sons of mine and that of my minister are behaving like lunatics. They are not fond of jewelry and other ornaments. They do not even touch them. They unfailingly wear only rosaries of Rudraksha beads and Tripundra ash on the body. They behave very strangely. I am confused and disturbed by their attitude. Why are they so much fond of Rudraksha? What might be the real reason for their unusual behavior? I am very restless. I do not know for the moment what to do about them. Be kind enough to guide me in the matter of our sons. After listening to the woes of the king, Sage Parashar smiled and said, Hey, the great king, for your son's variegated behavior, there is an amazing incident of their past life. The behavior of these two young boys is governed by tendencies of their past life. The present behavior is the outcome of past impressions. In ancient times, in the village Nandi of Kashmir state, there lived a graceful, beautiful, and brilliant faced harlot. She was leading a very luxurious life. She had in her possession various precious and unique golden ornaments, articles, so also cowherd. She was a very young, beautiful lady who looked like the wife of Kama. She was very famous in the entire area. Even though by profession she was an unchaste woman and leading an amorous life, she was claiming herself to be a devoted woman. She was very keen and particular in observing religious ceremonies and rituals. She liberally offered precious things by way of charity and practiced religious acts. There was a dance pandal in her house which was studded with jewels. In that pandal, she had reared a monkey and a cock for play and entertainment. She had put on them ornaments studded with rudraksha. One day, a very rich man of business community called by name Shivavrita arrived at her place. He wore a rosary of rudraksha and smeared sacred ash on his body. Besides, he had with him a beautiful, elegantly embellished phallus of Shiva, which was studded with precious stones. The diamond phallus emitted brilliance which was equivalent to that of sun god. She treated him nicely and made him comfortable by offering a seat in her dance room. She was attracted by the phallus, which was with Shivavrata. She wished to have it either for cash consideration or for sensual pleasure. She expressed her desire to own that phallus to that guest businessman. She appealed to him that if he were to give it to her for sensual pleasure, she would remain his chaste wife for 3 days in succession. That businessman consented to part with that phallus for sensual pleasures. However, he insisted that she must lead a life of virtuous woman at least for 3 days with him. Somehow, that rich businessman had no trust in that woman, as by nature she had nurtured the qualities of an unchaste woman. Then the unchaste woman took an oath by touching that phallus of Lord Shiva and promised that she would remain his chaste wife for 3 days. The businessman agreed and handed over that phallus to her, which was his life possession. While giving the phallus, he told her to take maximum care of it, and should anything happen to that phallus, he would commit suicide. The unchaste woman gladly agreed for his terms and condition and behaved like a gentlewoman. When it was night time, both of them entered the bedroom. But before entering the bedroom, the unchaste woman, as per the words of this businessman, kept that phallus, which was made out of precious stones, in that dance pandal. When they were ready to get engaged in romance in that room, within no time, that dance pandal accidentally caught fire and got totally ruined. That precious stone phallus, the cock, and the monkey were no more. The spreading fire had engulfed everything. The businessman who lost his phallus, which he deemed to be his soul itself, grieved a lot and got terribly disturbed. In spite of their best efforts to search for it, they could not trace the phallus. The businessman who had lost his phallus, which was his life energy, lost interest in life. Deeply perturbed and pained, that businessman, not bothering for anything, jumped into the fire arranged by himself. That woman grieved a lot for the reason that she had attracted the sin of annihilating a human being and that of burning the phallus of Lord Shiva into ashes. She was anguished very much for the fact that only she was responsible for eternal journey of her husband. To follow the religion of chaste women, that unchaste woman decided to accompany her husband as per her commitment to him to lead a religious life of a chaste woman. She observed all the religious rituals prescribed in the scriptures as a preparatory step for carrying out her decision in the presence of Brahmins. She also practiced charity by offering gifts, cash, clothes, and other things to Brahmins and saluted all the people who were there before her departure to the eternal world. People advised and tried to convince her by several ways to dissuade her from committing the act of self practice. Some of them tried to impress upon her that being an unchaste woman, she was not bound by the religion of chaste women, and that for the characterless and chaste woman there is no religion like that of a chaste woman. They advised her not to follow husband's suit as it is against the religion of unchaste women. Though people tried to convince her to desist from her unwarranted act, she did not heed to their advice. She appealed to them that as she had taken an oath of practicing the religion of chaste women before her husband, it was her ordained obligation to accompany her deceased husband after his demise. So saying, she paid obeisance to all. She saluted the fire sacrificial frame and the sun god Surya Narayana and at once jumped into that fire frame. Due to the merit she acquired by observing the religion of a chaste woman, an amazing incident happened. Instantly, Lord Shiva spoke to her, O the righteous ones, myself is that jeweled phallus. Through my illusory paths, I created fire and destroyed the dance pandal. To follow the religion of chaste woman, you had jumped into that fire. For the sake of testing you, I too entered the fire. I am gratified by your devotion and dedication to religion. Seek from me the boon that you want. I shall certainly confer it in the form of my blessing to you. Then that unchaste woman begged before Sri Shankar thus, Hey Gauri Shankara, I do not want anything material. My only desire is to seek shelter under your divine feet by being a bee incessantly. Be kind enough to take my people to heavenly abode. We shall not be reborn on this material plane. Be gracious enough to liberate us from this worldly prison. Thus praying, she lied down on his feet. Lord Gauri Shankara was pleased by her intense prayer and he took that unchaste woman and her entire clan in an aeroplane to heaven. Sage Parashar said, O great king, the monkey that was burnt alive in its previous birth had discarded its earlier body. Due to the religious merit it acquired by wearing Rudraksha and ash, it has taken birth in your family as your son. So also that cock has taken the birth as son of your minister. In fact, both the monkey and the cock were born in their earlier life in low species as ignorant ones. But as they were in the habit of wearing sacred Rudraksha, they are reborn in noble families as enlightened beings. As per their mental impressions and habitual behavior of previous birth, in this birth also, they continue to wear Rudraksha beads and have become the great worshippers of Lord Ishvara. Here ends the 33rd chapter in the most auspicious Shri Gurucharitra. Shri Gurudev Datta. Shri Guru Dattatreya Arpanamastu.